Hello, hi everyone. My name's David TKI, and I'm going to be opening up Rgltv's Halloween Horror Marathon with Quest for Glory: Shadows of Darkness. This is a point-and-click adventure game by Sierra Online with some RPG elements to it, and this is the fourth game in the series. It takes place in the Valley of Mordavia, commonly considered a dark valley. Before I run, I gotta select what class I'm gonna be playing as: fighter, magic user, or thief. I'm playing a fighter today, and that's partly because the criteria for 100% changes with each class, and I think fighter will best show off the spooky elements. I can assign 100 points to my character before I begin the game, and a name. I'll just go with Rgltv for now. And then for my 100 points, I could bump up these skills. I could put 100 in a new skill. So far, the fastest that we've been able to do is 50 points into strength. That gives us enough strength to lift a tombstone in the graveyard, and then the remaining 50 goes into weapon use, which in previous games was normally just accuracy, but it seems to affect how much damage that we do in this game. So I'm going to go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so at the end of the previous game, we were magically teleported away, and in this game, we wake up to find ourselves in a very spooky cave, where we've lost all our stuff and all our friends. Go into the menu, turn up the speed, turn down the skill. I normally turn the detail down for speed runs, but I'm actually going to turn it up because this is a marathon run. We're going to need to find some stuff to get ourselves out of this cave. On these skeletons, I find a dagger, some coins, and a piece of flint, which I'm going to use to light these torches, because otherwise I can't see what I'm doing with this door over here. So I force my way out, and I find a sword and shield laying on the ground, the traditional weapon of the fighter. One difference with the fighter is that they're going to be immediately confronted by batters on the way out. They're kind of crosses between bats and spiders, but easy enough to fight. The magic user and the thief do not run into that combat there. The fighter is strong enough to cross hand over hand to get out of the rope. The other classes will usually use different methods to get out. Got our first skip here. Shift W, a debug command that was left in for some reason, allows me to cast the fetch spell and run right by Katrina without ever meeting her. But it's going to break the game just a little bit, because we come out of the cave and it's nighttime. There are will-o-wisps in the swamp here. Let's go over 100% a little bit. Every time you've heard that dun-dun-dun-dun chime, I have gotten some points, and I need to get all of them. Well, that 100% criteria changes for each class, and a fighter is required to fight everything. I got some points for just fighting and beating the wraith right there. And, well, I'm going to have to find every unique random encounter and fight them at least once. So, now the Shift W command that I did at the cave kind of broke things, so I've just rested for 2 hours, but the game thinks it's still nighttime for some reason. So I'm going around trying to find things in the forest, because I do have to fight each random encounter at least once, and there are 4 encounters that are unique to the night. Wait. 3 encounters that are unique to night. 2 of them that are unique to day, and 1 encounter that can show up at any time. I'm looking for not batters, because I fought them in the cave. The ones in the cave count for credits. Yeah, I broke time and space a bit. Fighter is a little RNG heavy. Here we go, one of the nighttime only monsters, a revenant. Easy enough to beat though. Most of these monsters don't fight very hard. Each monster does have its own unique... Let's see. 2 more hours. I've rested 4 times. I'm kind of changing my route on the fly here, because normally I try to rest like 10 hours and talk to a ghost, but I'm figuring here we go. Chernobyl. This is not an undead monster. This is actually a mutated cultist of an eldritch abomination. They're kind of bad news. He's gonna hit me quite a few times. But, yeah, that's 2 of the night encounters. done, and I'm gonna go ahead and sleep until morning now, because time and space was broken in a weird way. After resting for 4 hours, if you go ahead and sleep until morning, it's gonna bring you to day 2. And that's kind of important because there are certain in-game events that happen on later days, so you kind of want to pass time as much as possible. But sleeping at Urana's garden there has fixed time and space once again, so I'm gonna be going back and forth here just to see if I can get a daytime encounter. And here we are, the feared Vorpal Bunny. He's dead. No problem. I have slain a bunny. What a hero I am. Alright, I'm going to go to town for the first time. While I'm here, I'm going to get some corn on the cob, and I'm going to talk to the sheriff, the burgomeister here. The townspeople are going to be extremely suspicious of you because nobody has visited the valley in quite some time. They're kind of trapped and isolated from the world. Thank you, SBD Wolf, with the raid. We're going to be going through a few speed runs before we get to the meat of the day, which is the Castlevania Conot. Anyways, I gotta buy some stuff from the shop here. Let's see, garlic, candy, pie, and some rations to last me throughout my adventure. My adventure is going to last until like day 8 or so, and I'm on day 2 right now. Bunny is definitely a Monty Python reference. Absolutely. Also, if you saw that the combat system looks kind of like Street Fighter, the designers of the game were influenced by Street Fighter when they were designing this game. Anyways, I've just been ant-worked. I gotta visit Dr. Cranium. Certain events are... hold on. Certain events are gated on whether or not you've gotten required items from Dr. Cranium. So I gotta go here and visit him as soon as possible. And any percent, we would be skipping some of these puzzles with the question mark in the upper left, but this is 100%, which means we gotta get all of those point dings. So I gotta do the Antwerp maze normally. Oops. There we go. Get this key. I am not clicking right today. Here we go. Yeah, Dr. Cranium has a bunch of puzzles that you gotta solve before you can get into his place. I won't have to solve these again. We're gonna be fine here. Dr. Cranium has sort of a mad scientist vibe, but he's very helpful. First things first, he can give me healing potions and poison cure potions, 1 per day. So he's a good place to restock if you run low on those. But this is the copy protection, and I do have copy protection pulled up on another screen. But again, I don't really need the poison cure or healing potions. Fire, wind, earth. But again, I get those point dings, and they're required for 100%. I also get 3 empty flasks from him, which is a prerequisite. Oh, I gotta talk to Nikolai here, because I've gotta talk to him tomorrow about something. Get some flowers from the tree. So I'm gonna be heading to the swamp now, but on the way there, I'm gonna stop by the lake. The lake has an undead monster in it, a Rusalka. If any of you are familiar with your, did pieces practice help? Maybe. The Rusalka is gonna try to tempt you to get into the water so she can drown you, but you get points for giving her flowers and befriending her, but then you're just gonna run away. She gives you some information that could be helpful. Did I remember to loot the, Yeah, I did loot the Wraith Barrows. Okay, good. The fighter, magic user, and thief can't really do anything with the Rusalka other than give her flowers and befriend her, but the paladin can go on a quest to free her spirit, but we will not be doing that today. So there's a tomb in the middle of the swamp here, and there's multiple solutions for... hold on a sec. I need to be full on stamina for this fight. So there's multiple ways to get through the swamp depending on your class. The fighter and the paladin are strong enough to just simply wade through the muck. The magic user will naturally find some sort of spell that lets them get through it. And the thief can jump from hillock to hillock. The thief is very good at jumping. But I do have to fight both of these Chernobyl wizards before I can access the tombstone, which is going to have something very important. So a little backstory for the game. Some years ago, a cult tried to summon an eldritch abomination named Avuzal into the valley, but the summoning was interrupted, and many heroes were lost. But the Avuzal was left half-summoned into the valley, and so there are a series of rituals hidden throughout that will finish the spell, which you are going to have to collect. The 5 rituals of the Dark One. I am actually back a little bit too early. I should have rested until night. That's okay, though, because I forgot to pick up rocks out here, too. Anyways, that tomb had the bone ritual of the Dark One. And I'm going to rest until evening, because I got some stuff that I can't do until evening. So will-o-wisps show up here. They're basically the souls of lost children. I'm going to tempt them with some candy. Don't take candy from strangers, people. And then I'm going to capture them. But you need them in order to light up this squid stone, which I'm then going to use the sign of the Dark One in order to open it. In order to open this, you have to spell out the name of the Dark One, and you do have to take it slowly. If you click too fast, it doesn't work for some reason. But you open it up, and you find the sense ritual of the Dark One inside. So that's 2 out of 5. There's also a bush trapped by rocks here. It belongs to that garden that I slept in on day 1. And then the empty flasks I got from Dr. Cranium, I'm going to use 2 of them to get Goo from the Dark One cave. So another thing that happens at night is that we're going to find a ghost in the forest on this screen. And, well, we're going to very helpfully point out to her that she's a ghost. She's trying to ask for help getting back home, but she doesn't seem to realize that she's a ghost. So we're going to leave, come back, tell her again that she's a ghost. And then we're going to go over here, come back, and finally the 3rd time she will realize, hey, I'm a ghost. And finally she remembers her name. Her name is Anna. The old man Nikolai, who was wandering around outside Dr. Cranium's house, he's looking for his, there we go. This is the Necrotizer. This is the monster that can appear at day or night. Probably one of the tougher ones, and despite its rather necrotic look, it is actually a living creature. Kind of tough, and it's a shame that these battles are over so quick, because they all have very good rocking tunes. So, the bush does go here in the garden, but I actually cannot put it back just yet. If I do that, I'm going to close off 2 points for me, and I will be locked out of 100%. So, can't return the bush yet. Oh, and the will-o-wisps died because I didn't release them back into the swamp. Oops. But that just led to a loss of honor. It did not lose me any points. Anyways, knowing that the ghost in the forest is named Anna, I can tell the old man in town that the ghost in the forest has the same name as his dead wife, and he's gonna... Oh, she's there. Okay, I'm gonna go out there and say hi to her, and I'm gonna be like, no, the forest is kind of dangerous, but he's not listening. So, as heroes, we just killed an old man. Oops. Oh well. So, Dr. Cranium does have some important stuff for us, but, you can only get it on the third visit, and you can only visit him once per day. So we're going to be in here to see a failed electrical experiment, but then we're just going to leave again because we don't get anything on the second visit. But I'm just going to rest right outside his door until just past midnight. There are more things that need to be done in town. It's better to do them at night, and there's one thing in particular that can only be done after midnight. So this is going to knock down several tasks at once. But shortly after midnight, I can do my day 3 visit with Dr. Cranium. My mouse is acting pretty weirdly here. I'm getting tired. That means it's midnight. 1 hour past midnight, you go back in here, and you talk to Dr. Cranium. He has come up with rehydration solution, but he doesn't remember the formula for it, so copy protection yet again. Wind, pizza, wind, water, water, pizza. And then he will give you rehydration solution in exchange for goo from the forest. So now we have the things that we need to deal with the monastery in town. The monastery to the Dark One. You know, it's kind of bad news, this thing. The Dark One sign will get us in here without the octopus at the door eating us. So we got a couple of things to do here. There's a hexapod here guarding a secret entrance downstairs, but he likes garlic. I feed him. The rehydration solution will be used to rehydrate this dried out domovoy. And that's a prerequisite to something else. In the basement of the monastery, there's a huge cask of Amontillado, which we're going to drink, of course. It's past 5 p.m. somewhere. Drinking it will give us this very dark vision of the Dark One of Rgltv being fully summoned and awakening. My 7-year-old is watching me. Very spooky, but thankfully that was just a vision and not the real thing. But drinking that cask of Amontillado turned it into the blood ritual of the Dark One. There's another task I'm going to do here. It's not strictly required, but let's see. Reading the desk tells me more about where all the rituals are, and then doing that means I can now burn down the monastery. This is not actually required in 100%. Burning down the monastery is just a bonus to your honor, but it does prevent the game from crashing. And then I'm going to break my way into the Adventurers Guild and get some information here. I have just learned how to climb. You cannot do 100% and have a fighter that knows how to climb, so you got to start the game not knowing how to do it. Sign the logbook, get a rope and grapnel here, do a little bit of exercise. You know, I'm going to go ahead and use a poison cure potion from Dr. Cranium just to be sure. And the reason I go into the monastery at night is so that Igor the Gravedigger does not yell at me not to go in the door because it's dangerous. You can go in anyways, but he's a time waster. So normally everyone in the inn is asleep at midnight, but I haven't been in yet, so I'm going to pay the innkeeper for my room and board, go to my room, come out again, and now everyone's asleep, but the inn domovoy is here. He gave me the quest to help the monastery domovoy, but once I've done that, I can then get this doll from the cabinet, because the doll belongs to the innkeeper's daughter, but she's been missing for a while now. So that doll is going to help me whenever I find her later. But it is now day 4. I believe it's day 4. I'm going to actually double check that. It is day 4. Excellent. Okay. Nothing happens on day 4. This is a dead day. We're not doing anything this day. The next event that happens on day 6. So out in the forest, there's a group of travelers that have their own camp. The townspeople are very suspicious of them, and they think that they are werewolves. Well, on day 5, Igor the Gravedigger is going to go missing, And as the townspeople go out to try to find him, they're going to find one of those travelers, Davy, right outside. And so they capture him and accuse him of killing Igor. But since they stopped right outside the town gates, they never made it all the way to the graveyard, where they're going to find out that, hey, one of these tombstones fell down. The fighter is just simply going to lift the gravestone, and 300 strength is going to guarantee that you're strong enough to do this, which is why I put the points there. And it turns out Igor was here the whole time. If you leave him for too long, then Igor dies in his grave, Davy gets burned at the stake, and you can't win the game. But since I have just proved that Davy is innocent, the Burgomeister released him. And, well, Igor is very happy to not be in that grave anymore. He's going to give me a key to the crypt in there. The magic user and the thief have a way into the crypt without getting that key. But the fighter can't break down that door with his raw strength. He needs the key. Oh, so there's a random monster in the forest named the Leashy. It hides in a bush. It likes to play games. It's going to be giving me riddles that I have to guess the answer to. The first one being like, what am I? And you're going to say, you're a Leashy. I read about you in Hero Magazine. And so, we're going to be coming back here regularly to answer its riddles, because each riddle gives you 2 points. It's part of the 100% criteria. But for the second question, he's going to tell you about a bush that's in trouble, and you have to come here and tell him that you got that bush, or else you might miss out on those 2 points. You have to do that before you then return to the garden and plant the bush back here. Here it is. You plant it here, and it grows back. This is kind of a very magical and safe garden. So having done that, the Leashy will finally give you the next question, which I'm going to go ahead and take now. Partly because you learned something from him that's going to come in handy the following night. But the second question is going to be, who lives in the lake? And since we have met the Rusalka in the lake, we know the answer to this. But he's going to give us a clue to the next riddle with a magic phrase, bushes here, disappear. And we need to know that magic phrase in order to get to some other part of the forest. Is there a wyvern here? Oh, cool, yes. Okay, that's actually pretty good luck. The wyvern here can only appear during the day, and I believe this is the last random encounter that I need. I fought a Revenant, I fought a Chernobyl, Necrotizer money. Yeah, wyvern's the last one. And the batters we saw in the forest, I got credit for that in the Dark One cave already. So here we go, that's every random encounter. There shouldn't be any more RNG at this point. Anyways, since Davy was freed, the travelers here, they're very suspicious of strangers too, but since I proved that Davy was innocent, they're finally going to let me in and show me some trust. And so they bring me to the fortune teller here, who's going to talk to me. She gives me a gift of an amulet that will prevent undead from draining my life, and she's also willing to read my fortune with tarot cards. We don't have to do this in any percent, but we do have to do it in 100%. The first reading is basically about me, and it's going to be about the people around me who are influencing my situation. In the distant past, a selfish woman, and the more recent past, a very evil and vicious old man. In the present, a lady of love and magic. Yeah, the tarot card readings are actually some of the most interesting parts of the game, because you get a lot of information, but they don't tell you outright. It's up to you to put the pieces together. And the future, a woman of dark and mystery. And what influences everything? The Dark One. Anyways, the first day at the village, we're going to be dancing with them. And they do reveal that they're not werewolves, but they are shapeshifters, and they do turn into wolves. They just do it voluntarily, not at the full moon. Oh, and Davy's gonna have us dance with his wife, who's then gonna turn into a wolf. I don't know what's going on here. The hero's bad at dancing. Alright, so the reason that we need to come to this camp is because on the third visit to the fortune teller, she's going to have some important information for us. The staff is guarded by, the town is guarded by the staff of the magician Arana, and it's currently waiting there for a destiny spell. Basically, somebody is going to bring a dead loved one in front of them and willingly give their life in order to bring that person back to life. So we need to know about the existence of that spell. So in addition to getting the 5 rituals of the Dark One, there are 2 criteria for unlocking the endgame. First things first, rest until night, travel through this screen with a wraith, and then travel through another screen with the wraith. So the old man earlier that I told that his wife was in the forest, well, he's going to show up here. He's dead, but he's reuniting with his wife, so he's kind of happy about that. And the reason we did all that was so that we could get the old man's hat. We're heroes, I swear. Anyways, I'm going to be going throughout the forest and doing every other activity that's done at night. Get some berries from the elderberry bush, and then there's another wraith here that is special. So this wraith normally drains your health so fast that you can't reasonably beat it in a fight, unless you're pretty much perfect. But the fortune teller gave me an amulet that stops it from draining my life, so it becomes an easy fight now. And in theory, I could do this on day 1, because I am good enough to fight it and beat it, but it requires perfect execution, and really it's just better to wait until this night, because you can't do this next part until tonight anyways. In the Wraith's Barrows was the heart ritual of the Dark One, so that is a required fight. The magic phrase that the Leashi gave me allows me to get past that bush, where we're going to meet these people that were in the first game. This skull does not let me in until I give him a hat, and then you give some corn to Baba Yaga's chicken leg hut here. You get points for that. Not necessary in any percent, because you can give her what she wants before you even get in there, which is, I'm making an elderberry pie. Berries, goo, and a bit of ground up bone for a bone meal. That's everything I need to make an elderberry pie, and then I need skull lasers to cook it. And so, yeah, the first time you come in here, she's going to send you on a quest to get elderberry pie, but if you come back here already, then you're going to skip to this second visit, where she turns you into a hedgehog, but then remembers you were bringing her pie, and she says, "Do you have my pie?" And I say, "Yes, I have your pie." She doesn't really like you, but she figures that trying to eat you is too much effort, so she has you get her food that she wants. In exchange for the pie, I just asked for a good humor bar. There's a gnome in the valley that has lost his sense of humor, and only the good humor bar can restore it. But I do need to come back here one more time, give her more food like garlic, because she has the breath ritual of the Dark One. And with that, I now have all 5 rituals. So I can now focus on the tasks that I need to do to unlock Endgame, and there's 2 of them. One of them is restoring the gnome's sense of humor, but the other one is finding the innkeeper's daughter. So we haven't visited the castle of the valley yet, but first I gotta exit this crypt because that's worth points. And then go back in again. So there's a castle of the Boyars, but they haven't resided in the castle for some time. Instead, more recently, vampires have taken residence in the castle. But we've got a secret way there through the crypts. using the key that Igor gave us. And then there's actually 2 ways through the castle. So I remember trying to time both ways. I'm taking the secret passageway. The problem with the secret passageway is that there's going to be a required battle against some batters this way. There's no way past them unless you are a magic user and you know the calm spell. So I'm just going to be fighting him. Oh yeah, I did get a battle axe from the Heart Wraith's barrows. And so that's the problem with this way. The batters are going to slow you down. The problem with the other way, though, is that you end up going through the front hall, and you're going to find 2 of the vampire residents in there arguing. So you have to wait for them to finish arguing before you can go through the front hall, and also there are more screen transitions that way. I ended up trying to time out both methods at one point, and I think if you're a fighter who does not know magic, then they're roughly break even. But you go through the castle, and you find the room of a little girl here, and her monster guardian. If you put 2 and 2 together, you will realize that this is actually the innkeeper's missing daughter. First, she's not going to trust you unless you give her doll back. And then, the destiny spell you heard about from the fortune teller, you're going to tell her about it. But her monster guardian, Toby, immediately understands what's going to happen and insists on bringing her here. So, F in chat to pay respects to Toby, because Tanya does not understand what's going on right up until Toby dies to bring life back to the child he loves. Bible thump. So restoring Tanya back to life is one of the 2 criteria for endgame. The other one is going to be visiting the gnome and giving him his humor back. But for some reason, you can't just go to the inventory and give him the good humor bar. You have to visit his room a second time, which I'm going to wait until evening to do that, because for some reason, you can't enter his room except in certain specific scenarios. So one of those scenarios being, I'm going to return it at night. Yeah, the rubber chicken I normally leave until later to pick up, but I've forgotten it before. I'll pick it up now. And then knock on the door. I come back in here, and I give him the good humor bar. He gets his humor back. And in exchange, he teaches me the ultimate joke. A joke so funny that it will make anyone, no matter what, start laughing uncontrollably. But it only works once. So if you've gotten the ultimate joke and restored Tanya to life, then this letter is going to appear at the foot of your bed the next time you sleep at the inn. It's day 8 now. I've got a couple of loose ends to tie up. I haven't finished all of Alici's riddles, because some of them required visiting Baba Yaga. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. The note was supposedly from Katrina, the woman at the entrance to the Darkwind Cave, to meet her in front of the castle at night. And if you listened to the 2 vampires at the front hall, you would realize that Katrina is one of them. The other one being an old rival, Davidt, who you killed in a previous game. Anyways, Katrina thinks of Tanya as her daughter, so she's not going to be very happy with you, and trying to meet her at night is kind of a really dumb decision. But the only way to advance the plot is to fall for the trap, so... Anyways. Where was I? I don't remember. Delishi had several riddles. This is the 5th and final one. And he's going to ask, where is the heart scroll? I can tell him it's at the raid. The previous 2 riddles were, one of them answer was Baba Yaga, the other answer was Elderberry Bush. And that's his final riddle. If you know Quest for Glory point lists, then you might realize that I have forgotten a task. Hello, Roy. My 4-year-old is here. You might realize that I have forgotten a task for Fighter, and, well, I haven't actually forgotten it. The Fighter has a task to break down the gates to the castle and get in that way. And I haven't done that yet.
You feel...
Oh. Old routes... Uh-oh. You know what? So I entered this screen on purpose because Wraiths can reset the random encounter table so that I don't run into anything on the way here. So we find our old friend Davidt here, and we're going to do the stupid thing and look into his eyes and immediately get captured by him because he hypnotized us. You can try to run away from him, but the plot doesn't advance until you get captured, so stupid thing is fastest. And he's going to chain us up here with a hammer and stake to try to taunt us, and he's going to talk about how Katrina is the real big bad. But an Iron Maiden here leads us to Katrina's bedroom right here, and so that's going to make it immediately obvious that Davidt set us up to try to kill Katrina. So instead we're just going to wake her up, and, well, she's really unhappy with us. She's going to chain us up, whip us, and we're pretty much not going to get out of here until we beg for mercy and say, I'll do whatever you want to do. And she's going to put a geas on us to force us to collect all 5 rituals of the Dark One. Good thing I have them all already. Which, I'm going to glitch right through the gate there, but the end game does not trigger until I actually go to the forest. But by glitching through the gate right there, I got credit for breaking it down, and that saved me 2 fights against Necrotizer. Anyways, once you've gotten all 5 rituals of the Dark One, you go to the forest, you return to the castle, because she intends to complete the rituals, and you don't really have a choice. But another bit of backstory, in the battle to unleash the Dark One initially, the magician Irana was there, and she tried to banish the Dark One, but she was only partly successful. The Dark One is in between worlds, and so is Irana. So the only way to banish the Dark One for good is to release Irana, but in order to release Irana, you must also release the Dark One. So going along and summoning it fulfills the purposes of both sides. But before we can do that, we need to get this diary from this pit monster here, who turns out to be the last boyar. Being a cultist didn't do him many favors, and, well, the fighter is required to kill him. He's not a hard fight, though. So we kill him, we get this diary, which has the essence ritual. Actually, you're not required to get it in any percent for some reason. The game just kind of assumes you got it. So we're going to be going through the rituals now. We're going to be going back to that cave that we started the game in, because that is where the bone ritual takes place. Shoutouts to Ahazu for figuring out that if you click the torch directly on the altar, you end up in the correct position. The way this is going to go, we're going to perform the bone ritual. We're going to get trapped by bones. We're strong enough to just break out of them, and then we're going to leave again. Each of these rooms is going to involve doing a ritual and then having to escape the hazard that appears. Was this game on GOG? Yes, this game is on GOG. So this is the cave of the blood ritual. We're going to go ahead and perform the blood ritual here, and then immediately the cave is going to start filling with very acidic blood. Normally you're supposed to find a way to block that blood so that you have a safe way past, but the game's a little glitched, and if you just click hand here and then here, you're going to run right through the blood without having to deal with it. It's normally acidic and just kills you instantly. Next is the breath cave. So there's a little more to the ritual this time, and if you listen to the ritual closely, it will tell you what order that you need to blow on these tentacles, because you need to provide a little breath of your own. On the rightmost of 3, on the leftmost of 3. Once again in the middle, and then final note on high. I need to concentrate for this to see if I can get a fast cycle. You click immediately. You click hand here when you get caught in the breath. You grab onto the tentacle. You get flung out immediately. If you're not quick on that, then you'll hang on to that tentacle for like 5 to 10 seconds before you can escape. So this is the sense cave. You're normally supposed to go through here and start recovering your senses one by one, but you can use the ritual on the altar from the opening and then just skip that whole thing. And then you do the heart ritual on the center cave, and then you climb up above here where you're going to find, you recite the essence ritual, but then Adavis, who is enthralled to Katrina at this moment, is going to attack you, which is going to piss her off because she's actually fallen in love with you, and she's going to attack him. He gets free of being her vampire thrall, and so they start throwing water balloons at each other for a bit until he threatens the hero again, and so she puts herself in the way to save your life, but dies in the process. So how are we going to beat him? So we're going to tell the ultimate joke. He starts laughing, Hey, am I back up? I am back. Alright. Let's go ahead and finish this up. I did finish the game before I realized the stream cut, but luckily the game has autosaves, which means I can do this last room again. So I have restored to this point where my pants are set on fire, and where I'm going to go ahead and tell the ultimate joke. He's going to start laughing uncontrollably. I use the staff, it turns into a spear, and he can't defend himself when I throw it to his heart. Joke's on you, pal! And then we usually call time when the staff touches the crystal here, and we free Arana, who then banishes Rgltv back to his dimension forever. And with that, we have freed the land from the shadows of darkness. All the townspeople are happy. The Burgermeister is going to become the new boyar. Everyone's celebrating my deeds, and then I'm being teleported to Silmaria for my next adventure. But first, did I do 100%? My score is 500, so yes, I did 100%. And that's it for Quest for Glory 4. Since we're a little over time, I'm going to go ahead and stop here, so that Chuck Grody can run The Colonel's Bequest, another Sierra game, this time a murder mystery. Stick around, everyone.